Rain delay in the 6th inning where Washington has struck for a run. It's a 3-1 ball game. As we welcome you back up to our broadcast booth, we promised a very special guest, and here's the man that just pulled the number off the Turner Field wall. Craig Sager Jr. is here. You pulled the number down so well that the skies opened up as a result. Nice work.
Just got it in there.
Yeah, it was perfect timing.
Yeah. Hey, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get to the $64,000 question. How's your dad doing?
Just got back from Houston. He's at MD Anderson right now, which is just unbelievable facilities, and I couldn't be happier the type of care he's in. But he had that third bone marrow transplant a couple months ago. It's a dangerous procedure. It's very hard, but he's finally starting to reproduce some white blood cells that will heal some of the bleeding in the mouth and the things that happens after that. And he's made it through a rough 2 months, but we're thinking that this week, especially, honestly, today is the turning part to buy him some more time and hopefully get him back to Atlanta and meet you guys at SunTrust Park.
Love it. That would be great.
You were just showing us some pictures here, and I don't know if they can get a zoom in on that, but this is a picture of the Sager family at the last game at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Of course, the infamous Walter Banks there with the family. So you guys have a long history here in this city, not just with baseball, of course, but with your dad with the Hawks and so on. Big Atlanta fans, I know.
Yeah, and it just means so much to him. And growing up knowing the history my dad had with the Braves, obviously the Hank Aaron moment, that was just, it's so cool. And just picturing him running out there my whole life has been something just really has inspired me just to enjoy games more and be aware of what happens and just celebrate it and see it holistically for all that it's worth. And that's just one of the things that he does. He doesn't reflect too much. He's obviously trying to focus on getting through this battle, but the things he does reflect on are just his experiences at Turner Field and Wrigley and just all the memories that are built when you get together with this many people and just enjoy a game at the ballpark.
Craig, we talk all the time about the bubble that we all work in professional sports. We're in our Major League Baseball bubble. We're in our broadcasting bubble. Earlier this year, your dad got to go to Wrigley Field and sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," dressed as you'd expect to the nines in Chicago. You can't help, I guess, but be either touched or surprised, maybe a combination of both, at the outpouring of support that your dad and your family has gotten. Because, again, Craig lives in his TNT bubble. To see so many people from so many other walks of life supporting him and cheering him on, I'm sure has to be inspirational for your entire family.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that just the backing we've had through this whole thing has been overwhelming. It's just hard to expect that much support. But at the same time, my father, he represents this authentic enjoyment of sports, and he really does just go to the game and enjoy every bit of it. And he doesn't care about what the Twitter trend is or who's feuding with you. He shows up to the ball game to enjoy it, and just to see sports fans kind of appreciate that and honor him and give him these opportunities to just come to these stadiums and bring hope to some people that are going through similar things and just keep fighting, not giving up, and show that sports can uplift us all. It's been pretty incredible to see, and it's definitely changed my view on sports.
He's the best that there ever has been, I think, at what he does, and that's the sideline reporting, the interviews at halftime, the visits with coaches. To me, you're talking about the fans and their support. How about the players that have stepped up, the coaches? That's not always an easy thing to do, especially in the NBA, in mid-game, to get a coach or player to talk to you. And they're just hopping to it to make sure that Craig's able to get his job done, knowing what his job is. And I thought that was always, I keep thinking that's a real tribute to him, too, and how much they respect him and love talking to him.
Yeah, and you guys know, sports, there's a lot of pressure in sports. And I think, in general, we always try to be the best version of ourselves. What's different about him is he just shows us how to be yourself. And when he shows up to the ballpark, it doesn't matter if he's covering the game or riding the Jocks and Jills bus to the Chop House. He's going to enjoy it the same way. And I think that's why the players enjoy seeing him. And he just embodies what sports are about.
I'm a little disappointed you showed up not wearing one of your dad's sport coats.
I was going to say, my goodness, yeah.
They can't see him later, but I got some beer socks for him.
Beer socks is good. That's great. That's great. I know that when your dad took his first leave of absence from TBS that you got to go on air in his stead, and you got to interview the crusty old coach of the San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich. What was tougher, that interview or this interview?
I mean, that was just a life-changing moment in so many ways because, first of all, I found out 2 days before that he had leukemia. So when I went out there, not only did my dad not even know I was out there, so I couldn't call him and ask for advice, but I had no idea what was going to happen. And I knew the type of person my dad was. I had confidence that he would be positive through it, and I just tried to do the best job. But what that moment meant to me, and also what it meant to him going forward, and the type of support that came from it has been huge. And it's been so great to see him continue to be himself. I used to think that everyone has two sides to them. They go to work, they go home, they kind of turn off. I've been there for the worst news, I've been there for the hardest times, and he's been positive every second of the way. And I can honestly say that not one day has he changed.
Yeah, it's amazing when your dad's your hero, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
It truly is. So for fans who are at home and want to find another way, or any way really, to send their prayers, their thoughts, their wishes to your dad, is there a society, a foundation, is there a charity, is there a way that they can send cards or letters to your dad in Houston that you can think of?
Honestly, the first thing I'm going to say is just be positive. Go to the games, enjoy the games, and have a good time. I think that's the number one thing he wants, is not just awareness, just being more positive in general. And it really does make a difference. It makes the experience different. Just in terms of cancer, we are more into the awareness aspect. I think a lot of people have their own stories with it, but when we share our stories and help each other, that helps too. But he has the Sager Strong Foundation. MD Anderson too is doing incredible things, and you guys will see a lot of the awareness we've been working on coming up.
We can't wait to see your family back together. We can't wait to see your dad back here with one of those awful sport coats. And we certainly can't wait to see Craig get back in action with the NBA tips-off on TNT. Craig,
absolutely.
God bless you. Congratulations. And tell your pops we love him. We can't wait to see him at the ballpark. Craig Sager Jr., our guest, as we continue from Turner Field. 6 home games left here in Atlanta.